Abusua Ghana Mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and an convoy eba fefe sano na we no wo ba Kenpinski Gold Coast Hotel na the National Agribusiness Dialogue ekoso hon waba na wabekeke starter ma afi mpanifo no etimi aya no bye na ma hwe kwan ya befa so ama Ghana ye agribusiness akọ enkan na theme om de to so resetting agribusiness for inclusive and sustainable industrial growth. Maame Elizabeth Ofosu Jare sounds say agribusiness or no na Ghana mampani apa no ama wada no ntino enam so ama wabepie mu ewa hasan so na mahu yira John Dumelo na Ghana mampani NSC form every nation mu abusua ha Ghana news bi so men kasa ma me kasa ngwa so say ne dey kan about him ya na wa subscribe it na wa share dem amidin ene nana sefa ne bobo sanso ena wa amanone na so send this kaba o my Ghana mu a na wa download the lemfi na wa bo me code news ashim NEWS ashim na wo ma chew $10 asha wo ho wo Europe na say wo send your first €100 wa no no be chew €15 na wo di asha ho we no betimi di ache obi betimi asende as airtime kra mo obi wo Ghana ma na ni age pa abusua ne enko hwe ni ntie ne ekoso e wa hase.
Thank you. We will now invite, please be seated. Thank you very much. We will now invite Apostle.
70% of fresh water of the world is used for agric. Now, to feed that 9 billion that will be coming on board in 2050, we need to have an additional 40 to 100% fresh water. I'm sure we're wondering how our future generations are going to survive. Now, agric accounts for 1/3 of the world's emission. Now, we need to reduce that by 67% to be able to feed that 9 billion in a sustainable way.
Gentlemen, good morning. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all to this National Agribusiness Dialogue. I'm especially honored by the presence of Your Excellency, who, despite a demanding schedule, has graciously agreed to launch this important forum. Your Excellency, your presence here today speaks volumes. It is a clear demonstration of your unwavering commitment to the transformation of Ghana's agribusiness sector. On behalf of all stakeholders herein present and out there, I express my deepest appreciation. Your Excellency, your leadership continues to inspire innovation and reform across key sectors of the economy. Today, your presence reinforces our collective belief that agribusiness holds vast potentials for our national development, job creation, industrialization, and food security. We are encouraged by your vision and your resolve to position Ghana as a leader in agribusiness within the region and beyond. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the ministry's expanded mandate to include agribusiness represents a pivotal shift in how we approach the development of this vital sector. It calls for a clear and comprehensive national agribusiness policy, one that is inclusive, forward-looking, and aligned with our industrialization and economic transformation agenda. The purpose of this forum is not only to launch an event, but to begin a national conversation, a conversation that brings together all stakeholders, particularly farmers, agripreneurs, researchers, development partners, private sector actors, and policy makers to co-create a policy framework that addresses the real needs, challenges, and my emphasis, opportunities within the agribusiness ecosystem. Your Excellency, the theme for the dialogue resetting agribusiness for inclusive and sustainable industrial growth, is both timely and intentional. It reflects the government's goal to drive growth that is inclusive and empowering everyone in agribusiness value chain, including women, smallholders, SMEs, while promoting sustainability through environmental stewardship and long-term resilience. We are here today because we recognize that Ghana's agribusiness sector must move beyond its traditional confines. We must embrace innovation, invest in value addition, scale up agri-tech solutions, strengthen market system, and expand access to finance. A strong and coherent policy will serve as the foundation for this transformation, providing clarity, stability, and direction for investment, partnership, and planning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in line with this ambition, the government 24-hour plus economy policy offers an exciting and a complementary strategic opportunity to amplify the transformation we seek within the agribusiness sector. By creating conditions for round-the-clock productivity, particularly in agro-processing, logistics, storage, and market access, we can unlock new layers of efficiency, reduce post-harvest losses, and drive continuous value addition. Together, these initiatives will not only expand employment opportunities across the entire agricultural value chain, but also ensure that our farmers, agripreneurs, and SMEs are fully integrated in a modern, resilient, and globally competitive economy. It is yet another demonstration of our President's resolve to industrialize with purpose, inclusivity, and sustainability to the core. As we engage in this dialogue, I urge all stakeholders to contribute boldly and constructively. Let us share ideas, challenge assumptions, and think creatively about what the future of agribusiness in Ghana should look like. This forum is your platform, and your voices are vital in shaping policy that is realistic, relevant, and impactful. It is only through inclusive dialogue, shared ownership, and sustained collaboration that we can unlock the full potential of agribusiness in Ghana. The ministry stands ready to facilitate this process and ensure that the policy we develop is not only consultative in design, but transformational in outcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this platform is more than a forum. It is a catalyst to bring together ideas, forge new partnerships, and bring a stronger and more competitive agribusiness sector. It is our shared responsibility to ensure that the momentum we generate here today translates into tangible action and measurable results. Let us seize this opportunity to reset the agenda for agribusiness in Ghana boldly, inclusively, and sustainably. Together, we can unlock the full potential of this sector and chart a new course for industrial growth that leaves no one behind. This is our moment to reset, reimagine, realize a stronger future for Ghana's agribusiness sector.
Even those who are fasting, they sometimes go somewhere and touch a bit of food. That's the beauty of agribusiness. Your Excellency, Mr. President, we are super excited to have you here, leading and charting a path for agribusiness development in Ghana. And we also want to thank you so much for giving us a minister who is so pragmatic and very articulate. The first time the agribusiness industry players met with her, they kept asking, is she an agribusiness expert? And how can a lawyer be so articulate in agribusiness affairs? So we are happy and we want to thank you for giving us such a minister. Today marks a remarkable day where vision, desires, and aspirations meet to reset the course of agribusiness, a sector that holds transformation and a sector that can transform our economy, our people, and our future. At the same time, a sector that is characterized by structural disconnect between primary production and industrial demand. Many agro-processors, particularly in value chains such as maize, soy, rice, tomatoes, cassava, palm oil, poultry, and tree crops, operate significantly below installed capacity due to inconsistent, inadequate, and poor quality raw material supply. For instance, rice mills operate at less than 40% capacity due to insufficient production of paddy rice. And tomato factories remain chronically underutilized, whilst we continue to import several millions of dollars of tomatoes. In the oil palm sector, domestic production is estimated at 300,000 metric tons, whilst industrial demand exceeds 600,000 metric tons. There is no question that agribusiness can transform Ghana's economy. Empirical and, in fact, spiritual evidence even prove that agribusiness will transform our economy. So the real question is not what agribusiness can do, but what we will do to and for agribusiness. We are passing a stage where we'll be making statements like agribusiness can transform our rural economies. Agribusiness can create jobs. Agribusiness can boost our economy. That one, from today, we are certain. And we are not going to do any more research work on how agri-impacts can impact on our economy. We know it. What we need now is what are we going to do to make it a reality? And that is why we are here this morning. This dialogue will move beyond pilots and pledges. Most of the time, when we want to enter agribusiness, the first thing is, let us pilot. Pilot what? We have done so many projects from the time that some of us were not born. Don't you have enough evidence to prove that these are pilots? And why do we still continue to focus on pilots and small things when bigger things are waiting for us? I'm glad that we are resetting, and we will reset. We need to reset, accelerate, and scale. The little that we know, let us scale them. It is better than going back 5 years to a new research and pilot again. By the time we are done with the pilot, industry has moved beyond the results and the findings of the pilot, and we have to pilot again. But we are not pilots. There is no aircraft for us to fly this morning. We are agribusiness entrepreneurs. Why do we need agro-processing with logistics and trade accounts for 10%. So primary is 2.9, agro-processing is 10%. Times more than what primary agriculture contributes to their GDP. In Ghana, it is the reverse. Agriculture contributes 20 to 26%, and agribusiness or agro-processing contributes only 6%. We definitely need to reset. I thought you will add that for me. We will definitely need to reset. Now, we have large-scale agribusiness firms that are struggling. Today, if you want to do a head count of large-scale agro-processing firms that are indigenous in nature, we struggle to even count 20. Why? We will reset. To unlock financing and reverse this trend, we wish to ask the big question: How do we establish an agri-fund? And I say this because we have Get Fund. And I'm happy there is Get Fund. But I keep saying that Get Fund supports infrastructure and build the supply chain of skill, or the supply of skilled labor that we need. Get Fund does wonderful for our educational sector. But remember, it is the supply side of skilled labor. Agribusiness is the demand and the consumption part of skilled labor. So if we put investment in education and we don't put equal investment in agribusiness, we are going to have a situation where there is always oversupply of skilled labor. And that is why we call for establishment of an agri-fund that will also catalyze more investment in the sector. That fund will be a game changer, de-risking investment, unlocking capital, and empowering industry actors to scale with confidence and resilience, and reset our staggering $2 billion post-harvest losses into agribusiness gains. Already, our yields are low. Our productions are low. But the little that we produce, we lose about $2 billion in post-harvest. Why? So when we have agri-fund, we will reset it and we will reverse it, so that tomorrow we will not come here and say again that our post-harvest loss is $2 billion. But we will rather say that our post-harvest gain into the agribusiness basket is $2 billion. Mr. President, the captains of industry are happy and excited that under your leadership, we have the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness, and Industry. The position of agribusiness in between trade and industry is for a purpose. And it's a purpose because we must seize the opportunity to address a fundamental issue that confronts us. Again, how do we nurture indigenous agro-processing champions with the ambition of transforming some into unicorns with businesses that have turnovers of billions of dollars? It is possible, not the previous one though. This one, I'm talking about resetting that is possible. But we know that these champions will not emerge by chance. They can never emerge by chance. They must be intentionally built through smart policies, targeted incentives, and strategic partnerships. With a strong export orientation, they can brand Ghana quality, increase access to global and regional markets, and fully integrate our producers into global value chains. Agribusiness may be local in operation, but must be global in our vision. Ladies and gentlemen, consider this. The combined land area of Ghana's 6 northern regions and OT represents approximately 64% of our total land area. Yet, these vast and fertile lands have little or no significant agro-processing facilities. That disparity must be addressed. Where 64% of our land surface, where the bread basket of Ghana is, does not have the agro-processing infrastructure for value addition.
Warriors say this is gungulum 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 gung. watching This is Ghana News TV. The time is 6 o'clock. Let me follow Ghana.
So send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha. Usulem fi. Say ye fear wo pese wo ntono. Usulem fi. Edan ananse japade a wani da so a wo pese oto wa Africa ha no. Usulem fi. Se wo send this sika ama odofo e de aboa no wo Africa ha. Usulem fi. Sanso e na se wo tie obi school fees ama no a. Usulem fi. Nyenti a make camful lemfi ama on say utimi send this car e fa lemfi so a e ma ne begu bank account mu sanso e na timi begu mobile money account mu eno achi nso no de bia lemfi e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo send a wo benya lemfi e ye secured na wo send this car enche na nipa wo send ama no ne nsa aka lemfi wo USA Canada UK Italy Germany Ireland Netherlands Spain Belgium Portugal and France what the lemfi send this car Untiare, Bomadia, they use me code NEWS News. Na say, any day they can register or lemfi swa. Unya bonus, Sanso, and I use to chance swa. Your bonus is a hoodwa, Yadema.
Follow and watch Ghana News TV.
And now, to deliver the keynote speech and launch the National Agribusiness Dialogue 2025, we are happy to welcome His Excellency, the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, to bring us his keynote speech. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you. Kindly take your seats. Thank you. Thanks, Ben. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this dialogue. It's an invitation I very easily accepted because agric and agribusiness is my passion. I just want to indicate that the Eastern Corridor that you mentioned and are excited about is a very important part of Ghana's road network. And it had been neglected for many years, even though the bulk of Ghana's food production is from that corridor, from the northeastern region, northern region into OT and northern Volta. A lot of food comes down that corridor. But it had been neglected for a long time. And so it was Professor Mills who actually came up with a vision of engineering the Eastern Corridor in order to create a smooth flow of agricultural products from north to south. We started working on it. It's supposed to stretch from Tema Runabout all the way to Kulungungu in the Upper East region on our border with Burkina Faso. Most parts of it have been engineered from Gushegu all the way down to Otidamanko, and then from Nkwanta all the way down to Jasikai. There are a few gaps, and those gaps are between Otidamanko and Nkwanta. There are 2 lots there that were abandoned during the It Is Possible years. And so, so I'm happy to inform you that they've been included in the big push. And as I speak, procurement is ongoing to get the contractors back to site to finish that segment. The segment between Tema Runabout and Asuchari is ongoing. There's a contractor on it. It's supposed to go over a new bridge at a place called Volivo. I signed the MOU when I visited Japan as president, but the project stalled. And I happen to be going to Japan again in August. And so that's one of the projects I'm carrying under my armpit to go and ask the Japanese Prime Minister to give to us. Once those segments are done, then it means that it opens up the road and it will make it easier for food products to be transported down. But I'm very happy to be here this morning to join you in this important dialogue. And I want to congratulate the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry and your partners, Agri-Impact and all of you for organizing this. I believe that we will come here every year, not just to dialogue, but also to measure the progress we have made. So next year when we come here, we're going to find out what progress have we made in terms of implementing the things that we agreed to do. And so on that note, proceeding on established protocol to save time, I welcome you to this National Agribusiness Dialogue with profound honor and a deep sense of purpose. This forum represents far more than just a routine stakeholder engagement. It is a vital turning point in our shared journey to transform Ghana's economy through the strategic development of the agribusiness sector. We gather here today not just to share ideas, but to affirm our national resolve to move Ghana decisively from an agrarian economy to an industrial, value-driven, and export-oriented one. This dialogue is therefore both timely and indispensable as we reset the foundation of our economy for inclusive and sustainable growth. Our commitment to agribusiness is evident in the recent realignment of the Ministry of Trade and Industry to become the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. This was not just a cosmetic change. It was a deliberate policy shift intended to place agribusiness at the heart of our industrial transformation. The inclusion of agribusiness is a strategic reorientation that focuses on value addition and value chain integration, which can radically alter Ghana's economic trajectory. The global agribusiness market, valued at between 3.4 and 3.5 trillion US dollars in 2024, is projected to reach 4.4 trillion to 5.8 trillion US dollars by 2033. And Ghana must be a part of this business. This represents an enormous opportunity for developing nations like Ghana. We have arable land, we have abundant water, and a resilient, youthful workforce. These ingredients position us uniquely to claim a competitive share of the global agribusiness value chain. The theme of today's dialogue, Resetting Agribusiness for Inclusive and Sustainable Industrial Growth, is timely and very relevant. It calls for a bold rethinking of how we cultivate, how we process, how we distribute and export our agricultural products. Many industries remain uncompetitive, struggling to sustain capacity utilization above 30 to 40%. This cannot continue. To reverse this trend, we must significantly improve the supply of quality raw materials by deliberately and systematically developing sustainable local value chains. This is indispensable to achieving full-scale implementation of our 24-hour economy initiative. Our agribusiness strategy must therefore be integrated with industrial policy, logistics, and export development in mind if we are to realize our full national potential. I'm pleased to note that despite inheriting a distressed economy, we have stabilized the macroeconomic environment through prudent and frugal management. This has laid a solid foundation for us to invest in the real economy, particularly in the sphere of agribusiness, where inclusive growth, job creation, and rural development can be achieved at scale. My passion for agribusiness development is rooted in the legacy of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president. He envisioned creating agro-industrial zones around the Volta Basin, where agricultural raw materials will be processed both for domestic use and also for export. We must pick up from where he left off with courage and clarity. It is in this spirit that my government is implementing key programs such as the Feed the Industries Initiative, Rapid Industrialization Initiative, and Accelerated Exports Development Program. These initiatives, led by the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, form the foundation of the 24-hour economy policy and are designed to unlock massive potentials across multiple sectors. To ensure the success of our agribusiness strategy, we must ensure the continuous availability of raw materials throughout the year. We're therefore transitioning from single-season agriculture to year-round planting and harvesting, powered by irrigation. Ghana has approximately 227,000 hectares of land that is engineered for irrigation. As I speak, we began constructing new irrigation projects, but also rehabilitating existing ones. This will enable us to produce agricultural raw materials throughout the year to feed our agro industry. And this will also help us with climate adaptability. I have a personal experience. I have a farm in my mother's village. The land was given to me by my uncle. It's about 4,000 hectares, but I've been able to clear only about 600 acres so far. There's still more to do. It's not easy. And so I put the 600 acres under cultivation, and this is my third season. This will be my third season. The first season was okay. The second season, you remember the dry spell? After we planted, the crops were growing beautifully. I mean, the farm was so beautiful. Then rain said it won't fall again. For 10 weeks, not a single drop of rain. Luckily, we had this sprinkler irrigation, and so we deployed it quickly, but it could cover only up to 60% of the farm. So we lost 40% of the produce. So I vowed that rain-fed agriculture, me, I won't do again. So this year, I haven't planted, but the good news is that I have agricultural engineers who are putting a pivot irrigation system in place. And so in September, I will start planting in September. And as I harvest, I'm planting. As I harvest, I'm planting. As I harvest, I'm planting. And I produce yellow maize and soybean. And my off-taker is Asuchari Poultry Farm. They take everything, and then they give me my cash. I'm also pleased to report that under the Big Push infrastructure program, the Minister of Finance has given the go-ahead for the acquisition of over 600 pieces of agricultural machinery and equipment for the setup of 11 out of the 50 farmers' service centers to be located in farming zones around the country. These tractors and equipment will not be sold to farmers as we did in the past. They will be stationed at strategic farmer service centers to provide mechanization support to farmers. And so farmers will have to register with the center within their catchment area. And when it's the farming season, if you want mechanization services, you go and they will provide the services to you. What farmers really need is not to own tractors and combine harvesters. What they need is a service of tractors and combined harvesters. And so let the specialized agencies in the private sector who know how to maintain these machines, keep and maintain them, and provide the service to the farmers. The government is also going to give preference to products manufactured in Ghana. And so as I speak, the 24-hour plus secretariat is compiling a comprehensive list of products that are manufactured in Ghana, including agro-processed products. And because government is the biggest spender in the economy, those products will be given priority in case of any procurement by any government agency. It's only when they cannot find a product that is manufactured in Ghana that they will be permitted to buy a foreign product. This should give a good market to agribusiness industries. The Feed the Industry program is central to agribusiness vision. It seeks to transform agro-processing industries into sustainable engines of economic growth by securing consistent, high-quality supply chains. Its implementation rests on 4 critical pillars. One is the commercial farmer development and value chain integration, empowering commercial farmers with access to land, finance, technical support, and the linkages to smallholders throughout the grower scheme. The second is post-harvest loss solution centers and processing infrastructure, establishing industrial hubs with aggregation, storage, and processing facilities across key agricultural zones. The third is industrial linkages and market development. This will strengthen formal partnerships between farmers and processors, backed by structured contract farming and real-time market intelligence. And the fourth will be program management and institutional development that will establish a dedicated program implementation unit within the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry with robust monitoring frameworks. We aim to increase industrial capacity utilization from 30 to 40% averagely that it is today to 7 to 80% in targeted factories through these interventions. And this is not merely aspirational, it is achievable. And I hope that when we meet next year, we'll be able to indicate some businesses that we have scaled up to 70 to 80%. The government is adopting a two-pronged strategy to support this vision by enhancing machinery availability for agro-industrialization. I just talked about that. In the short term, import duties on agro-processing machinery will be waived to lower cost. This will help to lower costs and incentivize investment in local processing. This will enhance access to technology, it will improve efficiency, and stimulate private sector participation. We will retool Ghana's domestic manufacturing, machinery manufacturing sector in the medium to long term, and this involves strengthening the local fabrication of agro-processing machinery through the Gratis Foundation. For those of you who have not gone to Gratis, they do very fantastic things there. You know, corn shellers, I mean, all kinds of agricultural, agribusiness equipment. And it's supported by the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, and the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. We intend through this to reduce import dependency, to create skilled jobs, and deepen our industrial base. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is deeply gratifying to note that the ministry is also spearheading the development of a national agribusiness policy. This comprehensive framework will guide policy, investment, and implementation across the agribusiness ecosystem. The policy will focus not just on value addition, but also on high-quality raw material production, processing standards, export competitiveness, and supply chain resilience. It will ensure that Ghanaian agribusinesses are positioned to compete globally while creating decent and sustainable jobs locally for our people. So today's forum is an essential step in this process. It must generate inclusive perspectives, foster broad-based consensus building, and identify potential policy bottlenecks. But most importantly, it must create a shared ownership amongst all of us on what the way forward is. As we engage in these crucial deliberations, I urge each of us to recognize the vast opportunities that agribusiness offer, not just for the economy, but also for our national identity and our future. Agribusiness is where tradition meets innovation, where farming becomes industry, and local potential meets global markets. Let us approach this dialogue with technical insight and the collective will to transform. Let us commit to inclusive growth that leaves no farmer, processor, trader, or youth entrepreneur behind. Together we can reset Ghana's economy. Together we can create decent jobs. We can expand our exports. We can strengthen our food systems and ensure our nation's growth is sustainable and equitable. The National Agribusiness Dialogue is a declaration of intent, but now let us make it a springboard for enduring progress. Let's move from talking to implementation. And I hope that by next year, we would have made substantial progress. And so I thank you all for coming, and I declare the National Agribusiness Dialogue duly open.
Let's rise with a round of applause for His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, as he officially launches the National Agribusiness Dialogue. Please put your hands together. Wow. He organizes Mr. Daniel Fahini Akwe. And while he leaves us, I'd like to invite our 5 thematic area heads. Please come on stage so that we'll break out members.
Thank you.
So send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha Usulem fi say ye fear wo pese wo nto no Usulem fi edan anansa japade a wani da so a wo pese oto wa Africa ha no Usulem fi say wo send this sika ama odofo e de aboa no wo Africa ha Usulem fi sanso e na say wo tie obi school fees ama no a Usulem fi nyenti American full em fi ama on say utimi send this sika e fa lem fi so a e ma ne begu bank account mu sanso e na timi begu mobile money account mu eno achi nso no de bia lemfi e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo sende a wo benya lemfi e secured na wo send this car enche na nipa a wo sende ama no ne nsaka lemfi wo USA, Canada, UK, Italy, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Portugal and France. What the lemfi send this car untu ahwe bomodi a dey use me code NEWS news na say ene any day they can register or lemfi so a unya bonus sanso and use chance so a ye wo bonuses ahodo a ye de ma
menu makwekwes asempa kania semenam na meti asempa na mo amane a na ma no keka me anyamia wati ANS Trading Agency Limited nka se wo ka se door to door for no de na watwa esanse obi ne wa wo se wo ho sa door to door business nim wo nyoma wo UK a wo de ko Ghana ana se Germany a wo de ko Ghana 3 to 5 weeks ebekwa kodu nipa ne punu anu se try na de mo dem sronko wo se adwuma de we mu ne se wo ho bo no e da fom se boko ANS Trading Agency Limited e wo air freight special service and on nyoma ne ye de be fa plane entintempa na akwa kodu obetima fa sa pa we ya so de nyoma free Ghana akwa UK ana Germany FGG dem which na also agina ye na men drop bomb ANS Trading Agency Limited pe and a 40 footer any 20 footer container ye for UK ediko Ghana ana Germany ediko Ghana omo manuoma ye mere import o export o dem there for you omo Ghana na money 0249 170 423 UK has over free 0790 802 7527 Germany 09173 771 2733 Ubenya ANS Trading Agency Limited our West Croydon ANS Trading Agency Limited Quantum Branchem Wana Beboya Basso maybe next time in your fill up from the Bebro.